The ocean, at night, is a mirror. If the water is calm enough and the air is still enough, the black water reflects the stars so perfectly that you cannot tell where the sea ends and the sky begins. You are simply floating, suspended in the deep, velvet dark. Welcome. Take a moment to settle in. Let your shoulders drop. Let the tension of the day unclench from your jaw. The noise of the world is far behind us now. Here, there is only the sound of the wind and the gentle rhythm of the waves. Tonight, we are traveling back to a night like this, April 14th, 1912, the North Atlantic. The air is freezing cold, a sharp, crisp chill that enters the lungs and wakes the spirit. The silence out here is heavy. It is vast, ancient silence that stretches for 1,000 miles in every direction. We all know the name, Titanic. We think of it as a story of noise, of crashing iron, of shouting, of chaos. But tonight, we are not here for the noise. We are here for the silence. We are here to walk the quiet decks before the end, to touch the cold brass railings, to hear the music that played against the dark, and to understand how the greatest ship ever built was humbled by the quiet power of the sea. Breathe in. The air is salty and cold. The stars are watching. Let us drift back to the beginning. The Iron Dream. Before she was a tragedy, she was a dream. They called her the Ship of Dreams. And standing on the dock in Southampton, looking up at her black steel hull rising like a cliff face out of the water, you would have believed it. She was a floating city, a cathedral of iron and rivets. Imagine the smell of her. She was brand new. The scent of fresh varnish on the oak paneling, the smell of new leather in the first-class smoking room, the faint metallic scent of the coal dust burning deep in her belly. She was designed to be an island of light in a world of darkness. Walk with me through the corridors. The carpets are thick, muffling your footsteps. The electric lights hum softly. In the dining saloon, the tables are set with silver and bone china, waiting for guests who believed that nothing, absolutely nothing, could touch them here. There was an arrogance to her beauty, a belief that humanity had finally conquered nature. We had built something so large, so heavy, so magnificent that the ocean itself would simply step aside. But the ocean does not step aside. It waits. It waits with a patience that iron and steel cannot understand. As the Titanic pushed off from the dock, breaking the connection with the land, she moved with a slow, heavy grace. The engines beat like a massive heart beneath the floorboards. Thump, thump, thump. She turned her bow toward the west, toward the setting sun, and moved slowly into the open arms of the Atlantic. The tiny mistake. Fate is rarely loud. It does not announce itself with trumpets. Usually, fate is small, quiet, unnoticed. For the Titanic, fate took the form of a small brass key. Before the ship left port, there was a last-minute change in the crew. An officer named David Blair was reassigned. He packed his bags in a hurry. He was disappointed to miss the maiden voyage of the greatest ship in history. In his rush, in the confusion of departure, he walked down the gangplank with a key still deep in his pocket. It was a small thing, just a piece of metal, but it was the key to the storage locker in the crow's nest, and inside that locker sat the ship's only pair of binoculars for the lookouts. Imagine standing in the crow's nest on that freezing April night. The ship is moving at 22 knots. The wind is tearing at your face, making your eyes water. You are the eyes of the ship. You are looking for ice, but it is a moonless night. The water is black. The ice is black. And without those binoculars, you are blind. Because of a key in a man's pocket hundreds of miles away in England, the lookouts had to rely on their naked eyes. They were squinting into the void, trying to separate the shadows from the sea. $1 billion of engineering, the most advanced technology of the Edwardian age, all of it rendered helpless by a tiny, forgotten piece of brass. It is a reminder that no matter how big we build, we are always fragile. The warnings. Deep inside the ship, in the warm glow of the radio room, the air was filled with invisible voices. The wireless operators, Jack Phillips and Harold Bride, sat with headphones on, listening to the static of the atmosphere. Tap, tap, tap. Messages from other ships, voices in the dark. Throughout the day, the warnings came in. From the Corona, from the Baltic, from the America. They tapped, ice, ice, icebergs ahead, large field ice. The messages were received. Some were written down. Some were put aside. The operators were busy. They were sending telegrams for the wealthy passengers, stock updates, birthday wishes, dinner arrangements, the trivial noise of human life cluttering the airwaves while danger drifted silently in the water. One final warning came from a ship called the Mesaba. It warned of a massive ice pack directly in the Titanic's path, but the message never made it to the bridge. It was lost in the pile, buried under the noise. The ship sailed on, blind, deaf to the warnings, wrapped in the warmth of the lights, slicing through the cold, rushing toward a silence that was waiting to catch it. The last song. When the impact came, it was more of a shudder than a crash, a jarring vibration that ran through the steel bones of the ship. And then the realization, the slow, creeping realization. But we will not focus on the panic tonight. We will focus on the dignity. On the deck, as the angle of the ship began to tilt, as the lifeboats were lowered into the black water, 8 men gathered with their instruments. Wallace Hartley and his band. They could have tried to save themselves. They could have fought for a seat in the boats. Instead, they played. At first, they played ragtime, bright, cheerful music, an attempt to keep the spirits high, to pretend that everything was fine. But as the bow dipped lower and the water crept up the stairs, the music changed. The legend says they played a hymn, "Nearer, my God, to Thee." Imagine the sound of that violin, a single thin melody cutting through the freezing air, notes of grace floating out over the dark water. It was a song of acceptance, a song of peace in the face of the inevitable. The passengers in the lifeboats, drifting away in the dark, heard it, a faint, haunting serenade from a dying city. The music played until the water touched the musicians' feet. And then the song ended, and the silence returned. The long silence. At 2:20 a.m., the ocean took the ship back. There was a roar, and then nothing. The Atlantic Ocean is vast. It covers 41 million square miles, and in the minutes after the ship disappeared, the ocean went back to being what it always was: quiet, cold, indifferent. The lifeboats sat bobbing in the dark, tiny specks of wood on an infinite sea. The stars reflected on the water again, as if nothing had happened. The constellations of the northern hemisphere looked down, unblinking. Orion, Ursa Major, the North Star, witnesses to the silence.
It is a heavy thought how quickly the water heals itself, how quickly the surface becomes smooth again. The great iron dream, the carpets, the chandeliers, the grand staircase began their long, slow drift down to the bottom, down through the cold layers, down into the crushing dark, falling like a leaf, turning, twisting, until it came to rest in the sand 2 miles beneath the surface. And now she rests, far below the waves, far below the storms. There is a place of eternal quiet. The Titanic is sleeping. The iron has returned to the earth. The rust grows slowly, velvet blankets of orange and red covering the steel. The currents move gently through the open windows. There is no noise here, no telegrams, no engines, no music. Just the deep, heavy pressure of the sea. It is a peaceful place, a place where time has stopped. Imagine yourself drifting down slowly, like a feather in the water, weightless, supported by the deep. The cold does not hurt here. It is just a stillness, a quiet that wraps around you. The ocean is vast. The ocean is sleeping, and you are safe. Let the story fade. Let the ship rest in the dark. Let your mind rest in the dark. Drift deeper, slower, silence, stars, and sleep. Good night.